Welcome to Getting to the Root with Tracy Palmer podcast, where we discuss topics and issues that will help you become the best version of who you are. Our goal is to give you encouragement and information that will help you execute your God-given vision. We are so excited you tuned in and hope you enjoy the show. Hello. Welcome. And thank you for joining. Oh, I am so excited to be here with you today. I am Tracy Palmer. In case you didn't know, I am a transformational life and business coach. I am an author. I am a podcaster. I am a speaker. I am your host of Entrepreneur Talk. So I am so excited, so glad to be here. We have another hot one. You know how I say it. We always got a hot one, especially when we bring on guests like this. We have a special guest today, Cynthia Roper of Cynergism LLC. I hope I said that correctly. I did it justice. We now remember, you all, we are still in our series of From Author to Authority. We're dealing with helping to build up authors. And so I am so excited to do this today. We are going to deal with the interior, if I can talk, design and editing. So I am not going to keep going because y'all know me. I can talk, but I want my special guest to just chime in and let us know a little bit about herself, whatever you want to tell us. But again, welcome and thank you for joining me today, Cynthia.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Tracy. It's so much fun to be here. So much fun to be here. I love the topic that you're doing right now, from author to authority. That is amazing. Even the title alone, that is amazing. Yeah. One of the things about me is you will get to know in this little bit of time that we're going to talk to each other today. Let me start this way. I live by 3 life words: to educate, to encourage, and to help elevate. And one of my favorite things to do is to work with authors. They are such an amazing group of people, such creative flow, such all of that. So part of what I do, I have this special niche in my business called the Writer's Corner. And I work with writers. So I know today the topics that we're going to mainly focus on are the interior design and the editing. Those pieces, I realized on your last show, you did an amazing presentation. And I think you talked a lot about covers and went into some on that. And that is, you're right, that is the spot where people really put their focus at, which it should be. Yeah. Because that's what people are going to pick up. That's what's going to cause them to grab it. However, as soon as you pick the book up, what's the first thing you do when you grab a new book? I'm asking, what's the first thing you do, Tracy?
Well, first thing I do, I flip it over to see what's on the back. And then I'm ready to skim through a little bit, but it's always a flip on the back to see what it's about.
So you read the back cover. What happens when you flip to the back cover and you read it and it doesn't grab you, or there's a typo or there's a grammatical error when you read the back cover? What happens to you then with the book?
More than likely, unless it's a friend or somebody I want to support, I'm going to politely pass on that book. It has to be somebody either I'm really into and I'm going to give them a pass, or, so yes, that's exactly what would happen.
But if the editing on the back cover is not tight, the likelihood of a person actually opening the book decreases dramatically. Decreases dramatically. So editing is key. So we'll start there. Editing is so key. When you're dealing with editing, a couple of things that I'm also, like you do, a transformational coach. I coach with authors. So I literally will work with an author from their beginning stages, help them come up with a strategy all the way through their completed project. So when I'm working with my authors in the beginning stages and working with them on their strategy, one of the things I talk to them about is their editing and how critical that is. Even in their writing, unless you are writing for a college level textbook, you want to keep your writing at approximately a 6th grade level. the reason behind that, especially if what you're writing is more of recreational reading, or you really want to keep people engaged. We live in such a microwave society that if a person has to sit down too long and really think about what you're trying to say to them,
Mm.
what's going to happen with the book, Tracy?
They're not going to read it. They're just not. They can't. They don't have time for all that.
That's it. They don't have time for all of that. And that's why I say to people, right around a sixth grade,
Mm.
because at that level, you still are using, more than one syllable words. You're still using modern day, vernacular. You're still doing
Mm-hmm.
all of that, but it's at a place and at a space where people can become really engaged in what you're trying to say versus focusing on the words that are written on the page.
Wow.
So you want to make sure that they can get to the meaning of what you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to say quickly.
Okay.
So that's that's a freebie throw out there. I know that comes and ties in with editing, because
Mm-hmm.
that is one of the things when I edit, I literally edit not just for grammar and content, but
Mm-hmm.
readability.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm struggling in trying to get what you're saying out of a paragraph, if I have to read it more than once, I
Mm-hmm.
edit in Word because that's what most people have. So I edit in Word and I do what's called suggested edits.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you will have the right to say yes or no
Mm-hmm.
in the midst of your editing process. The other thing is I insert comments when
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading through it, and I'll probe and say, is this what you're meaning? Kind of confused. You relate it to this there, or say that you mentioned two kids in the paragraphs before, but now you're talking about multiple, but you've never mentioned anywhere between now and then how you went from two to multiple.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for things like that when I edit,
Mm-hmm.
because that way your reader stays engaged, and you don't want your reader to have to go, okay, where are they? Where they jump to? How did we get to here?
Exactly.
All of those
Exactly.
are type of things that will cause people to put the book down. And
Okay.
my goal in being your editor is to help the person get from page one to the last page.
Awesome. Let me ask something right here. This is, of course, they wouldn't know this unless they actually attended our session that we did last year. That if
Yes,
y'all
ma'am.
missed it, y'all missed it. It was something that you brought out. It was super impressive. I was like, who would have known when it came down to, and I'm probably not going to use the right word, but
Yes, ma'am.
font. Well, no, I was going to use another word, but I am using the word font. You broke down some things about the importance or type of fonts. And I don't know if you want to throw a little bit of that out there, or
Sure.
to kind of deal with how important is it to have, or what does a font say to a reader? There we go. That's what I want to ask.
That's it. So you want to be very particular in the fonts that you use. And that's one of the things when I'm dealing in interior layout. We went from a back up just a little bit so we can just segue into this rightly. So we were talking about the cover and how it's important when the person picks up the book that they keep looking forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you flip to the inside, if the inside of your book is not as appealing to the eye as the cover is,
Mm-hmm.
or they connect together, it causes literally almost like a hiccup or an interrupt in your brain, because your brain is expecting to flow. It
Mm-hmm.
wants continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Your fonts play into that. If you are writing, say you are a female and you are writing a book to other females,
Mm-hmm.
a softer font, a more flowing font.
Mm-hmm.
Now, be careful with your script when you're actually dealing with, like, I will only use script as for like a highlight text,
Mm-hmm.
or at the very first letter of a text to give it that eye appeal. But even in your standard text, which you do not want to be script, you still want it to have a softer feel, a softer flow.
Mm-hmm.
On the contrary, if you're a man and you're writing something strong, you want more of a block letter.
Hmm. Okay.
It keeps in the continuity. Both of which you want something that is going to print well. Not every font prints well.
Hmm.
The more
Okay.
narrow the font, the more likely when you're printing in mass production for spaces of the letter not to print well. So
Okay.
be careful in that part of it. What else? There's so much with fonts. I know I'm probably giving different than what I gave the last time because
That's okay.
there's so
They
much
don't
when it
know.
pertains to fonts.
They don't know, girl. They don't know.
I know, right? So also with fonts, you can create a mood. You can
Mm,
create if you're having fun. You want a font that has that's not just staunch and hard, right?
okay.
If you're say you're writing a thriller, you're
Mm,
going to want something that has more meat to it.
okay.
Little things like that help to set the mood on the page. And
This
most
is
people
fun.
do. Yeah, it's fun. And so that's why I enjoy the interior layout. That's one of my favorite things to do. It's like because I get into and I can feel the sense of the story that you're writing and then help keep the reader in that mode with the fonts and things I choose to lay it out.
Hmm.
The other piece that you want to look at as far as your interior design is your white space.
Okay.
Think back to your high school and college days and
Hmm.
those beloved textbooks. How many times did you want to fall asleep when you were reading them?
All the time.
If
Every
you
time.
Every time it was like fighting. You're sitting up here like one and put toothpicks in your eyes to keep your eyelids open to help you stay
Listen.
focused. Your brain
Okay.
charts off. Um,
Right.
one of the things that I also do is I facilitate with the Center for Leadership and Development. Why am I bringing that up? We have a self-discovery program in there, and one of the chapters deals with the fact of your attention span
Hmm.
and how when you're studying to make sure that you do it in small blocks
Hmm.
because your brain only remembers the very beginning and the very end of that segment that you're studying. So
Hmm.
you want to look away and come back because
Hmm.
that starts another segment.
Hmm.
When you're dealing with reading, you need to keep all of that in mind as well. So
Okay.
when we're selecting fonts, when we're doing white space is your friend. It
Okay.
is your friend. When you have white space, the brain automatically relaxes. When you have a lot of tight text and not much space in between text, it's
Hmm.
tight. It causes you to have to strain more to read it. It causes you to have to focus more to see it.
Hmm.
Makes your eyes and your brain tired. It's quicker to disengage
Hmm.
versus if you have more space in between your sentences, more white space around the edges, it creates that softer, relaxed, calming feel to where a person could just snuggle down in their chair, grab your book.
Okay.
Content can keep them engaged.
Mm.
So your interior design is as important as your cover. Your cover will get them. Your
Hmm.
interior design and layout helps to keep them engaged with your content.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So you just listen, let me tell you, you made that whole beginning easy. I was like, normally I got to rev up my guests to get them to talk. Honey, you went in like, all right, I got you. I was like, okay. I'm like, she ain't even, I don't have to ask, do I have a question? We're going to be off of here in this. I mean, I don't know what just happened. I'm like, wait, I'm pretty sure we got more that we can talk about. Um, there was something we was talking about beforehand.
Mhm.
I'm gonna slide it in right here.
You gonna slide
So
over here?
slide it in right here. So we talked about, and I know we can probably you can dig a little bit more into editing or interior design. Like if there were some more examples, and I really wish I could have had you set up with a few examples here and there, but we're gonna easy breezy this, and they can just get with you if they
Yes.
want to see examples, because that's what we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it. But there is something that's very important as well when we are presenting a book
Hmm.
or when we are presenting ourselves as the author of the book. There's that old beautiful thing called a bio. And
Yes.
so that old bio. Oh, we dread having to put a bio together.
And
Oh my goodness, because with a bio, you have to make sure that you are capturing the best of you. And that's
yes.
how I kind of look at it. Enough to make people feel like that they know you, but not really know you, but know enough of you, but not too much of you. Show a little
Right.
leg, not too much leg.
Come
so,
on.
so let's talk about what. we call, or what you've informed me today of, that's called a bio sketch. Because we hear, oh, give me a bio, give me a bio. Kind of talk about the differences between when a person gives like that one type of bio and what a bio sketch is, and how important it is, especially even in with your book, with putting your
Yes.
what I like to call your literary masterpiece together.
Yes, literary masterpiece. I love that. There is a difference between a bio and a bio sketch. I'm a hand talker. I'm a presenter, so you guys are going to see my hands. I try to work on it. I try to do
uh,
this, but hey,
don't
it's
worry
just
about
who
it.
I am, right?
That's who
It's
I
me.
am too. So we're good.
Yeah, it's me. So your bio itself, that long thing, for those of us who are in the church, I'm gonna go church for about 2 seconds. For
Come
those
on.
of us who are in the church and you've been waiting on that person, they're coming up and they're going to introduce the speaker, and they come up with this long sheet of paper, and you sit there for the next 2 minutes and listen to them read everything about this person from the time they were a child to present day.
Right.
Okay. For all my people out there, no.
No,
No.
no,
From
don't
the
do
listener's
it.
end, I promise you we check out.
Yes.
We will catch certain pieces of it, but really what we're listening for, when it goes on too long, you begin to distract to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a term called a bio sketch, and it is a condensed version. It depends on who you talk to, depends on the length. It can be as brief as about 50 words. Never, ever, ever should be around the 500 range.
Mm.
A lot of people's bio sketch falls around 250 to 300. So what it is, the way I look at it, as like a sketch artist,
Mm-hmm.
they don't give you all the colors, all the filled in, all the hues, all of that. They give you the outline. They give you a sketch. It is
Okay.
enough of a representation for you to recognize the person, but
Mm-hmm.
not enough for it to look like a complete photograph.
Okay. Got you.
Bio
I like that
sketches
example.
along, yeah, your bio sketches along the same way. You want to be able in your bio sketch to present yourself, that if a person comes up to you in the flesh, they can tell by your bio sketch who you are.
Mm.
You're going to convey in there not just what it is that you do, but you want to convey who you are. You want to be able, as authors, especially when we're going to present, we want to be able in our bio sketch for the person to connect to the person of the author,
Mm-hmm.
not just the work of the author. Most
Yes.
people nowadays want to be able to have a personal touch. So
Yes.
even in your bio sketch, bring you into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a teacher at heart, if you can't already tell. I'm a teacher at heart. So in my bio, it's gonna come out. It just is who I am. I'm an encourager at heart. It's gonna come out in my bio because of the things that I talk about, or the things that I bring to light as to who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I could go on for days on this. Actually, Synergism is going to be doing quarterly workshops. We're expanding. So we're going to be doing quarterly workshops that help authors. And this is going to be one of the topics that
Okay.
really goes into the bio sketch, both for speaker wise, both for your author and what you want to include in your book, because they're going to want to know a little bit about you, but you can't put in the whole kitchen sink.
Yeah.
But you want to be able to give them that sketch so that
Mm-hmm.
they can connect with you as an author, and then even more so when they read the book and be
Okay.
able to go from there. So
Okay. Awesome.
that's a little bit of a bio sketch.
Okay. Now you said that your company is going to do. Can you talk a little bit more about what you can, we can talk about that now, but I do have some questions. I am going to go right back into um, editing and
Okay.
interior design, but editing especially is a question that popped up in my own head. I'm not going to forget it either. But I want you to, since you kind of talked a little
Threw
bit
that
about,
out there.
talk about your and I don't know if you just where you want to talk about any promotions or things that you
Sure.
got going on. So we can take a little moment to do that. Then I'm going to run some ads or whatever in a minute, and then we'll jump right back into the discussion. So go ahead and explain what you got going on concerning that.
Sweet. So there's a couple things going on right now that Synergism is offering. First of all, till the end of January, we are doing, every year I do a promo. And it's because at the beginning of the year, people are they're in their, their declarations for the year, and they come out gung ho, right?
Of
So
course.
We do our resolutions and set all our goals and all of that. So what I do at the beginning of the year is I offer a special. So this year's special it's 2021. So I did 20.21% off of
Hmm.
all of all of my products, all my services, I should say, that I offer. What that means, because I understand that a lot of times authors don't have their books done right now. What I'm saying is contract with me in the month of January. It could be August before you get your book done, but you automatically get the 20.21% off because you contracted with me in January. So that's the biggest special that we have going on right now, and it's only got a few days left. That does two things. One, it takes away some of the procrastination from the authors and helps put them in their own timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're contracted, and it's like, oh, I've got this out here, and it puts an internal press where we may back up and say, oh, I'll get to it later, or this begins to take precedent. And the bottom line, and this is what I tell all the authors that I work with, there is someone out there who needs what you're writing.
Yes.
Period. They need what you're writing. And for you to delay, and I'm checking myself right now as well, for you to delay and putting it out there could potentially be delaying someone's progress.
Well,
Even if you're writing a fiction, it may be that particular fiction, a person is going through something at that time. They need what you're writing to cause them to disconnect, to cause them to take a calm for a minute, to give them something that they can go to instead of dealing with the pressures of life. Regardless of what your genre is, there are people out there that are needing what you have to say.
Wow.
So for you to sit on it and not write it is selfish.
Oh, well, why do you have to talk to me like that? Why you got to talk personally like that?
I told you, I'm a coach too. So I'm a writer's coach too. So that's part of that.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just saying. So.
Oh my goodness. You didn't have to come hard like that.
Hey, I'm the coach that is the loving pit bull.
Wow. I mean,
I'm
you're
that
telling
coach.
the truth.
I'm that coach. You give me your outlines and your deadlines, you're going to have to give me a solid reason as to why you don't meet them.
Well, let me think about coming to you again. Hold on. Am I ready?
It's a good thing, though. It's a good thing. I love you to life.
I know
I'm love you to life in your project.
I love it, though.
But what good is a coach if it's not pulling the best out of you?
I know that's right. Oh my, come on.
Okay, see, two coaches get together, we can go up on a whole side rail.
It's just like two preachers getting together, two coaches getting together. It's just a whole, we messing up each other all the way. So we got all that in us, all of that. Right? Ministry, it ain't gonna work out. It ain't gonna work out because I'm the same way. I do the same thing, like you just said. That okay. Now you done paid me. Now you just acting like you done wasted your money. I'm like, you just wasted your money because I gave you an assignment, a due date, and you just do through the tulips and whatever. And I'm like, so you got money like that to spend? I mean, I should have charged you more than if you just throwing away money. You don't want to do nothing with it. And that's why I'm like, that's not what I'm here for. And I'll turn down a client just because that actually is crazy. And I'm about to go ministry a little bit. Actually, a prophetic word was given to me. I'm sorry, hey, who I am. A word was given to me, and it's like God had to expose who my kindness and let somebody else see to say, listen, you're going to have to stop basically just taking on any and every client. You're going to have to vet them out for who's serious. And I'm like, woo, because I had been hearing that in my spirit, but it's like, whoo, it's just because it's time to take people to the next level. It's not time to babysit nobody.
Exactly.
It's time to get to the next level.
Exactly.
It's time for us to really get somewhere and monetize. It's time to not just say, oh, I'm an author and I done sold 5 books. Listen. Those days are over. We cannot be okay with saying, and in the church, and I'm about to bust the bubble real quick, and then I'm going to take a little break, and then we're going to get back in it. I am so sick of people saying, well, I did what the Lord said, and now even though I got typos and the design is all
No.
jacked up. And we're gonna talk about it later. Don't you start now. We're gonna talk about it after. Don't hold it, hold it in, girl. Hold it. I'm like, and what 5 people got it? That's who God wanted me to have it. That's who God wanted to have it. And I'm like, you know what? No. So that's what you think of God. That's what you think of the vision. That's what you think of your life. That's what you think of your project. That's what you think that God says, I'm going to have you write this for 5 people to buy it. And your stuff, first of all, cover's not all that right. Your interior is not right. And that was no. See, what God wants is our obedience to move forward. But then he is so strategic that he begins to set people in place around you. But then what happens? We get prideful, we get arrogant, we get beside ourselves, like, oh, I've done my project and I don't need anybody because this is how God gave it to me. But why would God send people your way? Why would God put people in your path if it was supposed to stay like that? I'm gonna take a break because you
Oh,
ready to
because we
spit
got to come back
fire.
to this. Oh, we got to
So
come back to this.
I'm gonna take a break and actually do a few little commercials here. So what I want to talk about right here is, you know, on this show, we like to spotlight guests. We want to promote you as an entrepreneur. We want to show exactly what you're doing, what you got going on. So, if you would like to be a spotlighted guest and have your product or book featured on the Getting to the Root podcast, what I need for you to do is simply go to my website, in which, hold on, what I didn't do was make it where we can see it. There we go. Go to my website, which is gttrwithtracypalmer.com, and hit podcast, and you can sign up, and all the information will be there so that you can actually have your product or your book featured. I would love to give you that exposure because we are on YouTube, we're on, we have a podcast, we on Facebook Live, and soon I got some big news coming. We will be going to the next level and getting a bigger reach. So trust me when I say you want to get on this platform to be able so people can see what you're working with. So next I want to talk about this book. We talking about books, y'all. Now, like what I just get me saying. Don't sit there and talk about, oh, I got my 5 people. No. And I did that the first time. So this is my relaunch. We brought it back out. We beefed it up a little bit, and we making it where you can now purchase your copy today. It's now available in paperback and ebook format. I am proud to say that when I re-released it, I did make it to the #2 bestseller spot in my category. So I am so excited about that. So, hey, you got to get your hands on it. Get your hands on it again. You can go right to my website, GTTR with Tracy Palmer, and you will be able to purchase it there. And one more thing, if you are not subscribed to my weekly newsletter, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? You need to be subscribed. I'm telling you, I give content and to encourage you, to keep you informed on upcoming events, inspirational messages, informative podcasts. So come on, y'all. Go to my website and sign up, sign up, sign up. You don't want to miss. I keep you in the loop of everything that's going on. And again, like I said, and that's another place that you will be seen and heard by, or I guess seen and heard, yeah, by other people. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. So let's get back into this topic. So that was my little break. Yay! So I'm so happy about that. But okay, now I threw it out there. I know you
Yeah, you
ready.
did.
You ready to go ahead. You ain't forgot nothing. Come on
That's
now.
it.
Let's talk to the people about they 5 folks. Okay, they had 10. Okay, I'm sorry. They 10 folks that about their book. And that's what he wanted. That's it. Talk to
So
him.
let me first of all tell how I got into this, and this leads right into what we're talking about right here. I've always been one who has helped in the behind the scenes of people. I am one who finds great joy in elevating other people. I just really do. It gives me a whole sense of yeah, just it's my happy place.
Yes.
In doing that, I have several friends who are in ministry. They brought to me their books that they paid hundreds, hundreds of dollars to do the cover alone,
Mhm.
and then additional hundreds of dollars to do the inside.
Mhm.
When I looked at their book,
Mhm.
one, I looked at their cover, and because of the way the cover was designed, it didn't print well.
Mm. Mm.
Then I go to the inside of their book, and I can't even read their book for all the typos.
Wow. And they paid for
They
somebody?
paid.
Hmm. Okay.
What ended up happening was that the people that they hired were not editors.
Okay. Okay.
They didn't, how can I put this? If someone brings a book to me and they haven't even paid me to edit it, right? They're just hiring my company to do the interior layout, cover
Mhm.
design, something like that, right? If in my layout, my eye is automatically going to catch some of the typos or things like that just when I'm laying it out.
Mhm.
I'm not going to just lay out your book with typos in it.
Right. Oh, wow.
I'm not going to do that
Mhm.
because one, I value you. Two, especially if it's a kingdom driven book,
Mhm.
this represents the God that we serve. Are you
Mm.
serious?
Wow.
So it can't be put out there just anyway.
Come
This
on.
is what this is what actually got me into it because I said it back to them like, wait a minute, who did you get to do? I was offended for them. And I
Right.
was like, I'm your friend. Why didn't you send me your manuscript? You
Mhm.
know that I was raised by an English major.
Mhm.
And she would constantly, my mother would constantly tell me that I slaughter the Queen's English. Okay. So I would wake up to 4 and 5 syllable words on my mirror that I had to have broken down and know the definition of by the time I got home from school.
Wow.
English, this was my upbringing.
Mhm.
So when it comes to editing and things like that, those type of things I pick up on really quickly. My
Mhm.
eye just automatically catches them, right?
Mhm.
So I'm like, why didn't you send it to me? They're like, you're really busy. I said, I would have taken the time rather than you
Right.
put this out there like that, because now that you see it, you've got all these books that you purchased
Mhm.
are wrong.
Mm.
So taking the time, value what is in you and what you have been given to say enough to hire a true editor. And I'm not just saying hire me. If you do, great. If you don't, okay, but hire an editor.
Yes. Yes.
Truly take a look at your book and
Mhm.
help you take it to that level of excellence that it deserves and that you deserve.
Mhm.
Let's also talk about this whole mindset
Mm. Come on.
of this whole mindset of, well, if I only reached a few. So since you put it in a kingdom and a church sense,
Mhm.
let's go for it from there for a minute.
Okay.
Do you really think that God created the earth for just 5 people
Well.
for that period of time?
Mm.
That he wasn't thinking about you multi generations later?
Mm.
What you put out into a book format, once you launch it, especially in this day and age,
Mm.
is available for generations to come.
Wow. Mm.
So when you're stopping and you think about the fact you're long gone, somebody picks up your book, is that how they want to remember you? Because you
Mm.
didn't take the time to invest in what the inside was going to look like. You didn't take the time to invest in an editor. You didn't value, because it really speaks to the value that you have of yourself. And I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I'm a coach. So here we go.
Here
It
we
speaks
go.
to the value. It
Come
speaks to
on.
the value that you have of you. Let me help you.
Mhm.
You are valuable. What you have to say is needed.
Mhm.
God also brought people into the earth to assist.
Yes.
Realize the things that are around you.
Mhm.
If you are cooking from a recipe, you're not just going to mix it all up with your hands. You're going to grab a measuring cup. Well,
Mhm.
unless you're old school. But
Well.
most people, but even in that, you take the time to taste it. You take the
Yes.
time to make sure that the mix is right, that the blend is right.
Mhm.
How much more so and what you're putting in, that's only for a meal that you're going to sit down and consume for a moment. We're talking about something that's going to be here for generations.
Mm-hmm.
So please come out of that mindset of, oh, I was only supposed to reach 5. No,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't give it to you for that reason. It didn't take you 5 minutes to write it. Why would you think that it's only supposed to reach 5 people?
Mm-hmm.
God's given people like myself and others who he's taught how to market your book,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how to come alongside and help make sure that the here we go, that the seed given to you can be created in the right incubator to come full term and come
Mm-hmm.
term right. Invest, have enough to invest in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to know everything.
Come on.
That you will be connected to the people that is their area, that is their passion. If you haven't caught yet by my voice and by how I am, this is my passion.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't
Mm-hmm.
just do it as a business. Yes, it is, but it's also my passion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So take the time to really invest and allow the people that this is their gift to
Yes.
take your gift and wrap it up and make it beautiful. Not
Mm-hmm.
wrapped. Okay, I'm gonna go here. This just came to my mind. Like when you're wrapping a Christmas present, you run out of enough paper and the whole bottom of it is empty.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let your book be that way.
Come on.
That no matter which way they turn it, which side they look at, that it's all in excellence. From
Mm-hmm.
the front cover to the back cover and everything in between.
Yes, we have to stop being so prideful,
Yes.
and get so what is it like? This is my book, and I don't want anybody telling me how it should say it or what. And that's not what editing is about. It's about
No.
saying, okay, I know what you're saying. Now, what we want to do is make sure that what you're saying makes sense to the reader. We don't want the reader to lose the meaning, because we like when I read Facebook posts, if I got to read it more than once, I'm done. Forget it. It's not worth it. I'm not even about to do that because
If
that
you don't know the difference between there, and there, please stop.
I'm just like, there's some people that just
Stop.
they jack it up even worse. And I'm like, just because somebody takes and edits, that doesn't mean that they're making it lose the purity or the, of where it came from. At least not a good editor. Now, if somebody
Exactly.
goes and just tears your book apart to pieces and it doesn't even look like yours anymore, then that's not a good editor. They were just
No.
trying to write their own book through you, I guess. I don't know.
So what I
So
do, what I do is my whole heart. So say I just finished a book for a client,
mhm,
and in part of their book, the vernacular was very important to the content of the story.
mhm,
So I didn't correct the grammar
mhm,
because the vernacular was essential.
mhm,
But if your vernacular is not essential,
mhm,
and it will cause the reader not to put down your book because the vernacular is conflicting with the content,
mhm,
then I'm going to bring that to you.
mhm.
I wouldn't be a good editor if I didn't.
Right.
What you're paying me for is to help you have at least a true editor. It's not, okay, first of all, let me break down something really quickly. There's a difference between proofreading a book and editing a book. Let me help you.
Oh, come on. All right.
There is a difference.
Okay.
A proofreader is going to do that. They're just going to go through, read, and see what pops out when they're reading. An editor is going to come in, look for your content, look for your flow, look for your transitions between chapters, between thoughts, all of those type of things. An editor is going to have in their mind when they're reading your book.
Mhm,
Then there's another level called ghostwriting, is
mhm,
what some people, or wordsmithing.
mhm,
That's when, say, maybe writing is not your essence,
mhm,
but you have a story you want to tell.
mhm,
So you hire a wordsmith to write it, who will come alongside, listen to your heart,
mhm,
write it from your heart
mhm,
to where it sounds like you
mhm.
and what you're potentially struggling with putting on paper. So there's
Mhm.
different levels all the way through. But
That's
when you're
good.
hiring an editor, whether they truly dive into your content at least it's going to bring it to your attention so that you can rewrite it
Mm-hmm.
instead of just leaving it alone and
Yeah.
knowing that when a person hits that section that the reader's going to go, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Editing is key. It helps your book
Mm-hmm.
tell the story that's in your heart.
Yes. 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 And guess what? If you are a person that you was under that mindset, you know what? Guess what? There is life in re-releasing.
Yes, there is.
There is life in doing it again. That doesn't take away from anything. If you did have that mindset where you're like, you know what, I'm just throwing it out there because I feel like this is how God gave it to me, and I'm just gonna put it out there, and you were too prideful, because that's really what it is. I'm just going ahead and expose it. You were too prideful to let someone else come alongside you. If God knows that your finances can't handle it, I promise you, if he sees your seriousness and your sincerity, he will bring people alongside that will work with your finances. I know that for a fact. I'm in a season of that kind of favor right now. So
Let
that's
me
all I'm going
know.
to say on that. So he will do that, especially if you believe that it was a God ordained thing. He will do that. Listen,
I'm
I want to
telling you.
encourage your heart. He will. There is no maybe,
No,
perhaps.
he
No,
will.
if he gave it to you, he knows that you only got $5 in your account. He knows that you got 10, 20, 100, whatever. He knows. He will bring people alongside you that will show you how to pre-sale so you can get
Yep.
some beforehand.
Yep.
He will do. I'm trying to help somebody. So
As
we can
soon as you have,
eliminate. Oh,
let
go
me
ahead.
interject. As soon as you have your cover done,
Yes.
you do pre-sales to pay for the rest.
Come on. Help the people.
Hey, then you also, like with me, because this is my passion, and yes, I do have. God had to work with me because my daughter tells me all the time. She goes, "Mom, you will give away the kitchen sink." So he had to check me in valuing me because I would, right? Because that's my heart.
Hmm.
But what he then came back and
Yeah,
said,
of
yes,
course.
you can discount, but here's a better option: create flexible payment arrangements to where
Mm.
anybody
Hmm.
can get their book done regardless of where their financial status is.
Hmm.
So there's a way around it because that's one of the things he put on my heart for. So there's always a means of getting it done.
Always.
Do not devalue what he's given you. And let me touch on one other thing because you touched on it, but you came from one aspect. There is also a thing called false pride.
Mm.
People who come up here and goes, well, he gave it to me and I'm gonna da 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 da. These are the people who are like, well, I got it done and I did it to the so it's going to be good enough and it's okay. When really, in essence, they're afraid or don't feel valued enough to ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pride covers the whole gamut. Whether you're the type that doesn't want anybody else to touch it or you don't feel as though you should ask or you could ask,
Hmm.
both of those
Yeah. I like that. I
come from
like
the same.
that. Yeah. And I want to say to the audience, and I didn't say this earlier, and we do have a few minutes still. If you happen to have a question, because I am, even though I'm looking like on my phone and I'm seeing like all kind of responses of like not so much comments, but people are liking, sharing, and all this stuff. So there's some good stuff. But I'm like, don't feel like you can't throw a question. And I'm hoping that everything is working well where we can read a question or whatever. So if you do have one, we do have a few more minutes on this. So go ahead and get your question in immediately. Again, if you're loving what you're hearing, you can hit the little heart buttons, the likes, let us know. But I just want to, you know how you get all in your conversation, just totally forget to say anything about asking questions. I don't want anyone to feel like they can't ask a question. Let's see here. I think we just hit everything. So I don't. I mean, I'm pretty sure you keep going on and on about all kinds of stuff. So maybe right here, unless if you have anything else you want to touch on those subjects, or maybe if somebody tuned in, like reiterate what you have going on again when it comes to the special, and then tell us what do you personally, Miss Cynthia, got going on?
All right. So let me first of all, if you missed part of this, please go back to rewind, go back to replay, because it just flowed, and there is more nuggets in here that I could even begin to summarize. I'm the type, I will have an outline even when I minister. I only have like 4 bullet points on my outline, and the rest of it just flows. That's
Yeah.
the same thing that just happened here. It just flowed. So to be able to totally recap, I know we touched base on editing and the importance of it, and we touched base on the importance of interior layout, but there was so much more that came out in the process of those 2 topics. So please, please, please go back, hit replay. There's a lot in here, especially if you are an author. That will bless your life, that will enable your what God has given you, the message inside of you, to be able to come out in a way that can impact change, not just in a person's life, but ultimately in the world. Because if you change a life, you change the world. Now, as far as my specials, as I stated earlier, my business is called Synergism. There's many aspects of it, one of which, when you're listening through this, you're going to see quickly, I am a coach. One of the things, my favorite area of coaching is working with writers and authors. Love it. It is my passion. I have a special going on right now throughout the rest of this month, where if you contract with me in the month of January, even if you don't use the contract until later on in the year, you receive 20.21% off of any services that I offer. That's a huge savings. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. So will I extend it? I haven't heard God tell me to do that yet. So as of right now, 11:59 on January 31st, that special becomes, will go away. But if you get in touch with me, reach out to me. Let's talk about what you want to do and see if we can't get you in on that special. As far as what I have coming up, Synergism is expanding, and we are going to be offering, starting this quarter, workshops. In the workshops, mainly dealing with writers. In the workshops, we're going to be discussing a lot of different key topics. The first one is probably going to be, and we touched on it a little bit today, a bio sketch and the importance of a bio sketch. Why is that important? 1, you need to have a blurb on your book. 2, when you're going to promote your book, you're going to need to be able to talk about yourself. It is going to be the first impression are what? Lasting impressions. Making sure that your bio sketch, your word sketch of who you are, truly displays who you are. So probably our first workshop is going to be that. And then we will continue right now once a quarter. What else is coming up? My book is going to be released. Yes, God. My newest book called Silence the Noise. Literally, yes. Anybody ever seen, I'm going to get my age here, back when television used to go off, there used to be this white noise that came on at the end and played through the night. We have that same noise going on in our head. All the different thoughts that bombard you, that stop you from completing the tasks at hand. They distract and derail you. How do you silence that noise? How do you silence what's going on in the inside of you to truly fulfill what you want to do and what's been put on your heart to do? Silence the noise doesn't just go into the what it is. It goes into the why and the how to correct. So that's the new book that's coming out before spring hits. What else? And then I have about 3 more coming after that. So,
okay.
Yeah. And then I also do speaking like I'm doing here today. And I've done workshops. I just did a workshop 2 nights ago that we do over Zoom. And because we are still social distancing, we have a fun way of doing Zoom that makes the workshop feel like you're still interacting and feel like you're still a part. So I have those going on as well.
Okay. Awesome. We've sure had fun today. I mean, we just had a good old time. We just cut up. Good time. Did our little coach. Oh, you're not done. Come on.
Something I forgot. Okay, so anytime you're going to launch out and do something new, like with this broadcast and another broadcast I did just last week, certain things will happen in your life to try to distract you and try to derail you. What hit mine? My website that I designed has been up for forever. All of a sudden, on Monday or Tuesday, it went to a complete white page. It was hacked. They
Wow.
were able to repull it, but right now it is out of order. So if anyone goes to my website, that is not a reflection of who I am. They are still trying to work out the kinks of what all was done behind the scenes and to get me back in to fix it. So I'm asking for a little bit of grace. I didn't want to not put it up because I want you to be able to have it and be able to have a means to reach me. Plus, it has a lot of good information in it once it's fully up and going. I'm just saying, when you go out there right now, it is not a true reflection of who I am, but more of trying to stop me from doing, and I wasn't going to let it.
Okay. Okay. So awesome. Awesome. So what I will do is once we have ended the broadcast, I will go back in and make sure I type in the chat your information, or if you get to it before me, either one of us, it don't matter. Somebody gonna get it in there. And but as you guys can see, it is scrolling across the screen, but I will also make sure I put the information in the chat. So thank you again so much. I had to swallow. Thank you again so much for being on here with me today. This was great. I'm trying to tell you, we had a good time. We then coached the people. We done gave life to the honey. We done gave them life today. We done just said, listen, we're not taking no excuses. We're not doing that. And the beautiful thing, I love that everyone that I'm bringing on, they have such a boldness and such an authoritative, tone to them, where it's like it's a loving but authoritative tone to let you know that we are serious about your success. We are
Yes,
serious about you making it. I am serious from a business coach perspective about you making it. That's why I do what I do. Entrepreneur talk. It ain't for everybody, but it's for the serious. That's who it's for. It's for those who say, you know what? I'm not just about having a hobby anymore. I want a business. I don't want to just write a book and sell it to 5 folk. I want my book to reach hundreds of thousands and millions of people. So that's why we're doing this. I could be doing something else on a Monday night. I'm pretty
right.
sure Cynthia could be doing something.
Yes.
So that lets you know that we are so serious. So serious. So again, thank you so much. Did you have anything else before I do my wrap up speech, Cynthia? Or are
No,
we all good?
just thank you for having me on here today. And to those who are watching, the one thing I did state earlier that I want to close with, there is a story in you. There are people who are waiting to hear what is on your heart. They need it. It needs to come forth, and it needs to come forth in excellence. Whether you use synergism or somebody else, that part matters, but doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that what's in you comes out,
Mhm.
because people are waiting, and in you is the ability to change and change the world. Please don't be selfish. Please bring to life what is in you. I need it. We need it. And we look forward to working with you in it.
Yes, yes, yes. Again, like I want to say, thank you to my special guest. Thank you to my viewing audience. Thank you to my listening audience. Thank you for joining us every time we come on. Again, we are on live every second and fourth Monday, unless something prevents that from happening. We are here. Again, we are in our From Author to Authority series right now. So when we come back in February, we will be just taking it to the next level, encouraging and empowering even more in this area. One thing I want to leave with you all is there is only one you. So why not be the best version of you there is? Why not? Now is the time to live the life God intended for you to live. That's what I want to leave with you. Live it,
Yes.
be it, grab hold of it. Now is the time. Point blank. Now is the time. Do not delay. No more excuses. Eliminate the excuses. Go for it. And I'm telling you just as a witness. I know Cynthia's a witness of the wonderful and amazing things that God will do once you decide that you are going to live what He has given you. He's given us all something to do. It's time to do it. So again, thank you. And we will just see you next time. Take care and be blessed. We hope you enjoyed today's episode of Getting to the Root with Tracy Palmer podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel in order to be notified when a new episode is posted. You can also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or go to my website to subscribe to my e-newsletter at www.gttrwithtracypalmer. Until next time, take care and be blessed.